Hello, viewers. Bah! Bah! My name is Rabbi Dov Ber Cohen. I grew up in England and I traveled the world to find the truth, and eventually I came to Jerusalem where I discovered the beauty and depth and truth of Judaism. Bah! Bah! Jab, cross, slip, cross, hook, uppercut. And I'm now here to answer all of your questions in a serious and deep and real authentic way. Always keep your hands up. You gotta keep your hands up. I don't keep my hands up. Jab, cross, slip, cross, hook, uppercut. So please, ask whatever you like. And if you haven't managed to watch the previous episodes, they're still available, so you don't have to miss out. Let's begin. Hands up. Bam, bam, jab, 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 cross, bam. Are we recording?
We are taught that it's okay to use self-defense. Is it ever okay to throw the first punch?
Oh, very good. I actually taught my sons TTT. I got a 7-year-old son being a bit bullied by a 9-year-old boy, and I say, son, you have TTT. T number 1, talk. Talk to the guy and say, look, don't do this. It's not good, whatever. Difficult for a 7-year-old to do that, but if you can talk to the guy, that would be a good plan. Number 2, tell. Tell the teacher, tell me. And you might say, oh, that's so weak and cowardly. But when you're a 7-year-old kid being beaten up by a 9-year-old kid, you tell. You tell your teacher, you tell me, I'm going to destroy that 9-year-old kid, by the way. If that doesn't work, take him down. Not joking. If someone's bullying my kid, because bullying causes immense trauma. I work with my students who are bullied, immense lifelong trauma. So I don't want my kid to be bullied, but I then say to him, you never start a fight. You never be a bully. You never throw the first punch. Yes, you have to be able to finish the fight if it's going to happen. So some kid's bullying you, you mamish punch him in the face, you take him down. I actually write to his teacher and say, I've given my son permission to punch this kid in the face. Please don't get him in trouble. And if you call me and say he's in trouble, I'm going to be on his side because I don't like bullying. However, actually, when it comes to martial arts, if you're in a situation where you're in a big danger, if there's a group of people coming to you, you need to get in the first punch. And you need to take out the leader. If you can take out the leader with the first punch, everyone else gets scared. And do whatever you can. Spit in his face. The truth is, in general, if you're in a street fight, you don't want punch. You want to kick immediately because people are expecting a punch. So they're looking up here. You bam, go immediately down, smash their knee. It's basically over pretty quickly. You kick someone in the knee on the side or in the front. They come down and then you knee them in the face. That's done. First guy down. You get in that first punch, take down that guy. You've got an immense psychological advantage. You're on the rise. You got this motivation, and hopefully the rest of the guys are going to run away at that point. If they don't, you probably should run away, unless you can take down some people. So in general, in a street fight, don't go fake the punch, get them looking up here, then bam, you're taking them down to the knee. Also, in general, in a street fight, not that I've been in a street fight, because I'll tell you something very important. There are 2 types of people who really get attacked. One is very meek people, and they look very weak, so they look like a victim. And the other is a very arrogant person who's kind of out to get in a fight. Someone who's actually just self-confident. And they know they can handle themselves if they need to. They often don't get into fights. I don't want to get into fights. I don't need to get into fights just because I know that if I did, I think I could be able to defend myself and my family if I needed to. Other big point is, in general, we don't want to throw punches because your knuckles aren't actually very strong. They're weak, your knuckles. And even if you get in a good punch to someone, you're going to hurt yourself. That's why they wear gloves. When they wear gloves in fights, it's often not only just for the other person's face, it's for your own knuckles. So you want to hit with this part. Bam. It's a much more effective bam. So you're kicking low. You're coming in with your punches, elbows if you can. But in general, we don't want to be violent. We don't want to be aggressive. We want to be completely loving people, but know how to defend yourself if you need to. So maybe we'll do an episode with a whole course, basically how to defend yourself with Ahavat Hashem Gordon. Can you get him on the show? Gosh. If anyone knows Ahavat Hashem Gordon, a hero of the Jewish people and Israel, tell him about the podcast and let's tell him he can come and train me and we can have a podcast together. Sort it out. Someone out there, get me Ahavat Hashem.
If someone keeps mitzvot but constantly humiliates people, is that person religious in God's eyes?
Oh, someone came out to Noach Weinberg, Zatzal, who set up Asia Torah, and said, I saw a religious person speaking Lashon Hara, saying bad things about people. So Rav Noach said, well, that's crazy. I actually saw a religious person eating pig. So the guy said, if he's eating pig, he's not religious. So Rav Noach said, if he's speaking Lashon Hara, he's not religious either. Now, the truth is, it's not all or nothing. What makes you religious? Very difficult to say. If you keep Shabbat, and you keep kosher and you can keep family purity, we'd basically say you're kind of in the religious thing. But being religious isn't the purpose. Being kind is. Being refined is. Having good character traits. So if someone is constantly cruel, then I've actually said this a few times, you can be a good person without being spiritual. You can be an atheist and treat your wife really well and run an orphanage and be a really good, healthy, positive person without being spiritual. You cannot be spiritual without being good. So you're putting on your tefillin and you're saying blessings all day, but you're a cruel person. Your spirituality isn't even real spirituality. But I think there's a middle ground called religious, whereas I'm following the laws of the religion, so I am religious, but you've missed the purpose of the religion, which is to be kind, refined, conscious, and loving. I don't even like the word religious. And I hate the word frum. Frum is like a 4-letter F word. I like the word consciously and joyously observant. I'm consciously and joyfully observing the path that God set out for me to live the best life I can. CJO. Everyone, we're starting a new movement. CJO. If someone asks you what you are, don't say Chabad, Breslev, Litvak, Yeshiva. Say, I'm CJO. I'm consciously and joyously observant. And you could be Chabad CJO or Breslev CJO, but just be CJO. Consciously, joyously observant. Do you want to see something cool? Watch. That is cool now. I saw you smile. I did see you smile.
Is the shidduch system producing emotionally healthy marriages?
I don't think you can make a sweeping statement. In general, we do see that the shidduch system, if done in the right way, with the right mentors, produces good marriages. I'd say the majority of shidduch marriages are good marriages, especially in the Baal Tshuva world. But yes, I believe misused and exploited, the shidduch system creates terrible marriages, pressuring people to get married too young, not knowing the person very well. They're not mature enough to get married. So yes, I believe the shidduch system, which pressures early marriage, can create unhealthy marriages.
Would you recommend going to a speed dating event?
Absolutely. But not making a quick decision based on the speed dating event. The purpose of speed dating is to really establish a few things. Do we have similar values? And do we communicate well? And do we have attraction? Physical, chemical attraction. That's what the dating. But if you make your decision to get married after a speed dating event, I think that's completely crazy. But in order just to know that we have something in common and it's worth pursuing this relationship, absolutely. I very, very, very much believe in speed dating events. Although it can be emotionally painful, because if you go and meet 15 people and no one likes you, or the guy you like doesn't like you, or the girl you like doesn't like you, so you've got to be prepared for a little bit of emotional challenge. But to understand, you got to be prepared that it would be a little bit emotionally challenging if you don't get to date the person that you liked. But in general, I do like the idea of speed dating.
How do you handle rejection?
How do you handle rejection in life in general? Two main ways, especially in the religious world. Firstly, don't take it personally. It just means that the person didn't share your values, or they weren't attracted to you. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's just, it was not compatible. Secondly, in the religious world, we handle rejection by saying, I will marry the person that I want to marry. So if I was rejected, it just means that's not the person I was meant to marry. So we don't have that worry in religious dating. Maybe I'll mess it up, or maybe I won't. So one of my students said to me the other day, I'm going on my first date. What should I do? And I said, just be yourself, just relax, see if you enjoy being together. And they were like, yeah, but what if they don't like me? So I said, if they don't like you, you should marry them. So don't try and be someone else that you aren't in order to get someone to like you, and then not be that, and then they're being someone that they're not in. So two people who are not being who they are learn to like each other, but neither of them are that, and they'd get married and they'd be who they really are, and then they don't like each other, then they get divorced. Go and be yourself. If they don't like you, don't marry them. And the truth is, who you're meant to marry, they'll like you, who you are, for yourself. That's why I've said a few times, the key to actually having healthy relationships is having a healthy sense of self. I just feel okay with myself, who I am. I love you.
Can we use speech commands for AI, phone, and computers on Shabbat? Is that considered work?
I'm not a posek. I'm not a master of Jewish law. But I believe the idea of even a phone nowadays is very hard to specify what exactly the melacha, how you're actually breaking Shabbat. Is it boneh? Are you building a circuit? Is it lighting a fire because of it's very, very, very unclear. And some people say we're not fully sure how it really works. However, we have something called uvdin dechol, which means weekday mundane activities. The purpose of Shabbat is to become very, very present and to not have distractions and not have notifications and not be pulled out of the present moment. So we say it's just not Shabbostic. Basically, I don't know if you've heard of the term, it's not Shabbostic. It's not a Shabbos thing to do. You shouldn't be on your phone and on your TV on Shabbat. If, for example, Shabbat is really considered the marriage. It's a marriage between us and Hashem. So imagine you get married and you go into the yichud room. It's the first time you've been alone together with this woman and you love each other and you're very excited. And then suddenly you pull out your phone and say, hold on a second, I just got to check the football scores. It's like, what a betrayal of the intimacy that you're meant to be having. We're meant to be having emotional and spiritual intimacy with Hashem on Shabbat, and phones and TVs and stuff is actually just drawing us away from that. So it's just not a Shabbos thing to do. I said something funny once. Someone said to me, it's not, I said, why can't you do that? And they said to me, it's not Shabbostic. And I said, it is Shabbos and don't call me that. Hey guys, we'll try. I think that's very funny. It's not Shabbostic. Firstly, it is Shabbos, and please don't call me that. It's very funny. Want to hear my other jokes I made up when I became religious? Number one, if my brother is sick, why should I say Psalms? To heal him. That's a good one. My other joke I made up, if my daughter breaks Shabbos, why should I send her to bed? Because she's chayav mita. One of my favorite jokes is this. Why did the scarecrow win the Nobel Prize? Because he was outstanding in his field. I couldn't work out why the basketball was getting bigger and bigger, and then it hit me. Why did the old man fall down the well? Because he couldn't see that well. That is good. A boy went into the library and he said, "Excuse me, can I have a burger and fries?" And the librarian said, "Shh, don't you know this is a library?" And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Could I have a burger and fries?" Imagine you're in a castle and it's a room made of rocks. There are no windows, there are no doors, there are no drains, there's no way out. How do you get out? Stop imagining that you're there.
Is loneliness a problem to solve, or sometimes a sacred part of becoming who you are?
I really think that's the same thing, because how you become who you are is overcoming problems. I don't know if I'd call it a problem, maybe a challenge in your life. How do you really define problem? A problem is an annoying issue, an obstacle, a roadblock. So it really depends on your perspective towards this thing in your life. So loneliness is definitely something that is going to bring you to come to a deeper sense of self, a place within yourself. There's something actually called aloneness, which is being able to be alone, which is actually a very, very deep spiritual power. Sages teach us it's the fundamental power of your soul. Adam was created alone. So you need to learn how to be alone. It's a very, very deep sense of tapping into your soul. Your soul, in fact, wants to be alone. Most people are scared to be alone. They're running away from being alone because when they're alone, they realize that they've got their mind, and their mind is so difficult to deal with. So I don't like being alone. But you actually have to learn to be able to be deeply okay being alone. But the purpose of life isn't to be alone. The purpose of life is to connect with other people. But if you can't be alone, even your connecting to other people is a little bit codependent. I'm running away. Most people, when they're extrovert, is because they're afraid to be alone. And most people, when they're introvert, is because they're afraid to be with people. So that's not healthy. Healthy extrovert is also an introvert. I'm so okay being alone. Spent 6 years basically being alone. But because of that, I just love people. I'm not so needy, so I can be very extrovert. So is it better to be extrovert, introvert? You have to see your natural tendency. But really, a healthy person is able to do both. Then there's something called loneliness, which is I struggle with being alone, and I feel empty and lack of meaning and purpose and a lack of sense of self when I'm alone. So there's a difference between aloneness and loneliness. So loneliness is a challenge that we want to overcome, but it's by overcoming our challenges in life that we really build a deeper sense of self and reach our potential.
Rabbi, do you watch movies?
I do watch movies, usually movies which are inspirational, educational, or just fun. So I'm not going to watch movies that has sex and violence in it just because I don't want that in my consciousness. But things like Lion King and Mufasa, I love Mufasa, and Inside Out, and just things that are good family fun. And then I can discuss them with my children. We actually watched with my children The Prince of Egypt, and it was actually quite well done, but my kids were like, hold on, it made Aaron seem so not nice. And they were picking out all the mistakes and then what was good about it. So we really turned that into a Torah discussion. And when we watched Inside Out, I gave lessons. I said, this is your anxiety, and see the voice in your head, that's the Yetzer Hara. So movies that I can draw lessons, Torah lessons from, or it's just family fun to be with my family. I think that's a good thing to do. But I don't want to spend too much time watching movies and distracting myself because I got just more meaningful and important things to do with my life.
What's your favorite movie?
The truth is, I love Braveheart. It's an awesome, awesome movie, but there is sex and violence in it. I probably wouldn't watch it again now. Actually, I think I'd watch it again with taking out the sex scene. Because the violence, whatever, it's not as bad as whatever, but it's such a good movie. I also love Shawshank Redemption. What's that one with the table tennis player, Tom Hanks? Forrest Gump. These are old school, very good movies. Oh, my whole life is based on Rocky 4, by the way. Rocky 4, terrible movie, but terrible movie, but great. Changed my life. Karate Kid School. I like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Kickboxer, those type of movies. I like those. I really like Mufasa. I really do. You know what? I love Lion King so much that when Mufasa came out, we were all like, the sequel's never as good, but Mufasa's actually very good. I always wanted a brother. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rabbi in the Hot Seat, or as it's coming to be known, Hot Rabbi in the Seat. This week we spoke about AI on Shabbos and keeping Shabbos. We spoke about dating, speed dating. We speak about everything here. This is, I'm not joking, is a very good show. Everyone who watches it comes out to me, not enough people watch it, but whoever does watch it, love it. It's so well done. Benny's doing a ridiculously good job at the editing. So he deserves you to be watching the show. What is it? 1.7 people, 1.7K people? That's not a lot. We need hundreds of thousands of people getting this content because this is meaningful and entertaining content. And I'm not joking. Share it now. Like, subscribe, get it out there. This is life-changing, game-changing, world-changing. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.